it's
it.
So okay. We see this movie. Before we begin, what do you think about it as a series? Like it as a thing?
Well, there was several different adaptations, but the most memorable one was Stephen King's original It, which I believe came out in 1991. Tell me your stories. I mean, how your experience was when you watched it.
When I was a child, this movie straight up terrified me.
Just sit there with the VHS and be like, oh my gosh.
I was like, I don't mess with these clowns, bro.
It made me afraid of clowns for a good number of years. And I could not pick up that VHS tape because of how scary it was. You know, with the little hand and him like emerging from the...
It all floats. It all floats down here.
Oh yes. They float. They float.
The actor who played as Pennywise in the original,
Tim Curry?
Tim Curry. Creepy. I love Tim Curry. And,
was he
Rocky Horror and
I don't mess with
Clue.
Rocky Horror.
I actually enjoyed Rocky Horror.
Okay, so it was a good... I mean, it had its problems, but...
It had its problems.
Overall, it was a good...
Why is it so mean?
Why is it so mean?
Overall, it was a good thing to watch, you know? It may have been a little too long. And
It was pretty long.
but, you know, it was very detailed, and you got to know the characters well.
Yeah.
However, this new movie, it was not good. Okay, it wasn't bad. Like,
it's
like when
okay.
I think of... It wasn't a bad movie. Like, you know, it was well directed. The script wasn't bad. Like,
compared to other movies we've seen with the horror aspect, like the Insidious films that just keep going, and the Paranormal Activities, you know, we've seen a lot of lousy horror films.
But this movie, it was not good to me.
It wasn't good as a remake to the original It, but it's good as a horror movie, a standalone horror movie. You know?
I mean, dude, the problem with this movie was it didn't feel like it had like a plot that went along. It felt like you were watching like
just a series of scares.
A series of events. And I still, like, you know, the old It movie, you got to understand It as a character. And, like, you got to understand that the clown. This movie, I don't understand why the clown does these things. Or what his motives are.
It's, you know, and, you know, like, you get hints, like, very small hints of the origin behind Pennywise. You see glimpses of pictures from the 1600s of Pennywise, but that's it. It's not really a clear explanation.
Dude, watching this movie, it was like... And let's talk about the main characters, okay? You got... I mean, it's just... If you've seen original It, it's the same thing. You got the guy... You got the one girl who's like... who goes through abuse and stuff. You got fat guy. You got, you know... I tell the jokes guy. Like...
Inhaler guy.
Yeah, who's got stutters and stuff. Like...
They play a really good role.
You know, these kids, they play their roles well.
They play them well.
But now, those bullies were some of the worst bullies I've ever seen.
I can't imagine what bully coughs to, you know, letters out.
I'm gonna write my name in. Well, I understand they were trying to make him like a psychopath. You know, he was smarter than your average bear. He was not the normal bully guy.
Going to the relationship between each and every character.
The thing with in the original it was like everyone was in love with the main character.
Everyone was in love with the main character.
Well, I mean,
and I felt like
girl,
the relationship in the older one was much stronger than the newer one.
Yeah.
And then there's some characters that get less role, you know, like a smaller part of the role in the film. Where, you know, the black dude who was in the original...
Like the black guy had no purpose in this movie.
He could have just died and nobody really would care.
We would care.
Yeah,
we would care.
Look, the black guy in the original played the role as the person who was looking at the history of Pennywise.
Yeah.
But the role was changed to the fat kid.
Dude, what I hated is that, you know, they build the most developed relationship to me in this was the relationship between the fat kid and the girl. Like, they seem...
With the opening.
Yeah, like you see a relationship with them in the beginning of the movie, you know, and then, like, you see, she accepts his obsession with New Kids on the Block. You know, that way he accepts her, he doesn't care that there's these rumors that she's, you know, the hoe of the school, and then it actually builds naturally throughout the film. You know?
It does. It has a more natural development compared to the other characters.
But then at the end of the movie, it was like, she's gonna be with cool guy instead. It was like,
no, stuttering guy, which
he was cool guy. He was cool. He was the
because he conquered the fear first and all that. But it felt like somebody in the direction of the film was gonna go towards the relationship between him and the girl was stronger. Like, they were going in a direction where, they were going to originally end it with him, but then they were like, no, he's fat!
I know, like, dude, that would have actually made a lot of sense.
And it made sense in the book, too.
Even in the... Let's not talk about that book ending.
Yeah.
Just read the book ending and you will know what we mean. But the thing with it, like, even, like, it seems so random, because, you know, like, what breaks her out of the trance... Okay, we're spoiling this movie. What breaks her out of the trance is his kiss, because he loves her, right?
Yes.
And then at the end, you're like, okay, they're gonna be together. Yeet!
Let's talk about the scares.
Those scares were not scary. Okay, if you want to imagine what this theater was like, imagine a theater full of people screaming and shouting and jumping in their seats.
Honestly, you didn't hear nobody screaming.
Well, it's because it wasn't that many people, and they were all over there.
Yeah, but...
They were like, who?
Yeah,
who?
but... There was nothing really... nothing as memorable as the original.
Yeah. But I mean, okay, if you want to envision what it was like watching this with us, imagine a theater full of people all jumping and being scared, right? But
for a moment.
But we're just sitting there like this the entire film.
The problem was with me is that when...
Nothing scared me even slightly.
When the scares were happening, you seen them coming a mile away, where they set the tone with the scene, with the one character's older brother, who, you know, Georgie's little older brother, and he's like looking down the stairs, and, you know, he sets the mood. You already know what's gonna happen. He goes down there, he sees this little brother. We're floating, we're floating, we're floating,
we're floating, we're floating, we're floating. Like,
and then you see Pennywise arose from under the water, like,
and I'm like, was this supposed to be scary? That didn't even slightly scary.
The most predictable thing happens, where he starts rushing towards him. All it is just loud noise after loud noise.
It felt like every other kid's voice sounded normal, right? But then when Pennywise talked, it was like they upped his volume to super loud volumes. Like, he'd be like, hey, we're gonna get him, and then he comes in, hello, like but he's not screaming. That's the thing. He's talking in a normal voice, but it sounds like that. Like, it was weird and off-putting to the point where it wasn't even scary. It was just cringe.
It was almost confusing too with each scene, where first, like, Pennywise is supposed to be a devourer of children. Why would he scare the children away first? And all of this,
because he wants them to be afraid. He feeds off their fear.
That's true. I mean, but in the book, it was somewhat different.
That book was different, especially that ending.
Yeah,
those kids got to know each other real well.
It's too low. Anyways, yeah, the scares were predictable. Wasn't very scary. Just a lot of noise, and, you know, like, some people would jump, ooh, but nothing really memorable.
Ending was stupid.
Ending was
I mean, it looked real and cool, like the ending, but I thought it was dumb.
The ending was, where it.
I'm talking about the ending fight.
Yeah, between all them conquering the fears.
Yeah.
I mean, the difference between that is them, all fighting together, but in the ending of the original, they all simultaneously get together and shoot the gun at Pennywise. No, with the slingshot with Pennywise, and the light and all of that. The ending just kind of felt rushed when they were fighting almost. Yeah, it just didn't have like the same build up as much as what the ending of the original had.
One things I did like about this movie was like I liked how the mother was like the mother of the kid with who was on all the medication and asthma. She was like keeping him on all this fake medicine just to keep like her, just because she's like disabled, right? And she just wants him to stay at the household, like with them.
That was actually interesting. Yeah,
that was like a cool thing.
And you felt uncomfortable where the father of what's her name? Beverly. Well, her father was super weird, and you just felt that uncomfortable.
Father was like, "You mine, right? You mine." Like,
yeah, that was cool.
No, that was not cool.
That was not cool, but what I mean, well executed. And the shots were,
pretty good.
The shots of the scenes from transition after transition were really nice.
It was pretty good.
Yeah.
Overall, I did not enjoy this movie. It was cringe to me. It did not. I mean, it wasn't bad. I just wish Killjoy would come in and save this film. But
with the katana.
But man, it was just cringe. It was not memorable. Like.
Nothing actually memorable.
To me, the most memorable part of this movie was the kids. In the original, it was horrifying. Like, whenever it was on screen, like, say you even thought it was there, you felt like a chill. But this, I was like, it is like some child mascot. It is ain't for me, bro.
I don't know.
What would you rate this?
Man, I rate this.
It's not bad.
I rate this like a 3 out of 5.
Same.
I mean, if you're into clowns and fears, yeah, it's worth the watch. But it's nothing that you're gonna say 3 years from now, like, oh yeah, that was so good. But I know one movie that's really good.
That's it.
Dreamhouse.
Movie is bad.
That movie was great, masterpiece, but it was bad.
Now let's just end this.
Yeah.
All I know, you love the show.